Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Hope your morning is off to a great start. Jaret Lansford here to guide you through your morning drive. You're going to be heading out for maybe heading to the office for a little bit today. Um, that morning drive, we do have a few things I'm watching and a couple things that could be hazards for you as you're making your way through your morning drive. So let's start in with our first crash that we've had. This is near Springfield, Platteview westbound, as you're approaching Highway 50 there in the neighborhood of Springfield. That is right there on the bottom of your screen, the town of Springfield. So watch for that crash. Could be some emergency crews in that area as a result of that one there in southern Sarpy County. Another thing that I'm watching is the possibility with a little bit of a sheen showing up on some of our roads. We've gotten some moisture that has kind of ended up on some of our roads. Temperatures are below freezing at this point, so there is a possibility we get some slick spots that develop, and I'm going to be especially watching some of our bridges, ramps, where you have that chance to get the air kind of working at the road in multiple fashions from both above and below. So that's something that could develop here as we're making our way out and about, and show you what the temperatures are looking like through the metro. You can see a lot of 29-degree readings early this morning. So that is something that you need to be aware of, that you may run into as you're heading about your morning drive, is the possibility that there are a couple of slick spots that you have to contend with. I think otherwise, here, give you an idea of what the overall map is looking like. Of course, we don't have school traffic. Being New Year's Eve, there's a lot of people that aren't on the road, so it is pretty quiet out there. We are looking at a little bit of traffic starting to make its way through 90th and Dodge, 90th and Maple, getting a little bit of some delays that are showing up there. Nothing major, though. And, of course, 72nd and L, that construction zone, is another spot where things are a little bit slow at this point. I think I'll give you a view here of 90th and Dodge here and show you what traffic is looking like in that area. And you can see pretty well that sheen that is showing up on the roads. Thankfully, I haven't had any reports of any issues with slick spots just yet, but I'll let you watch this here for a little while and get an idea of how things are moving. So you can see that traffic kind of stopping there. That is not an issue. That's just for the stoplight. And there you can see it's turned green. So starting to move again there at 90th and Dodge. Let me give you another perspective of another area and how things are moving there. Let's go to, let's go to I-80 on the bridge over the Missouri River. You can see not a ton of traffic moving through this area, but moving in pretty good shape here in the early going. All right, let me show you the overall map again. Give you an idea of where there are slowdowns. We're continuing to watch as the commute goes on. We kind of update these areas. And here's another one I'm seeing. It's about 48 8th or so, westbound on 370, some delays. So I'm going to pull up a NDOT camera in that area, and we can take a look at some of the slow traffic that's happening in that area. See if we could find an issue that might be causing that. I can pull myself off the screen so you can see that delay a little bit better. And I can give you some estimated speeds through that stretch while I'm working on a camera. You can see it's hovering about 25, 30 miles per hour through that stretch. Okay, as I pull up the Nebraska DOT camera here near 48th and Highway 370, kind of just looks like some heavy traffic from this view. Not seeing any obvious problems that may be causing some of the delays that we're seeing. Of course, if I get word that there is something that would be causing that, I will pass that along to you and first alert you. All right, with this area moving along pretty well, give you another look at where we are seeing things slow down a little bit. As you can even see at this point, 370 is already looking a little better in that spot. So it was a short-term delay. I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but we are looking at least improvement happening there. And as I say that, it turns back to orange. So I suppose just watch for delays that may show up as you're heading through that stretch in your 48th. And again, if we get word that there is some kind of issue, we'll pass that along. A lot of our other roads moving pretty well. Let's check in on somewhere on I-80, maybe around 84th. I'll give you an idea of how traffic's looking on that very busy roadway. Typically, during this time in the morning, we are looking at a lot of traffic that goes through that stretch. Here's what it's looking like this morning. Camera having some issues there. So, all right, let's try a different one. Let's go to 72nd and see if we can get a better feed. There we go. That's a better feed. You can see there is some traffic. Maybe a little lighter than usual. That's to be expected. But not seeing any issues at this point through this stretch. Appears to be moving pretty well. So again, some of the things I'm watching this morning, watch for maybe a couple of slick spots that may be out there as you are heading your way, particularly on bridges, overpasses. We do have temperatures that have dipped down under the freezing mark, and with a little moisture that's kind of ended up on the roadways, that could result in a couple of slick spots. So something to keep in mind this morning is that you may encounter a few of those as you're heading out and about. So far, haven't had too many instances of any kind of issues popping up. Do have one crash that I've been watching near Springfield. That is on Platteview, just to the east of Highway 50 there, right near the north side of Springfield. So that is the only crash report that I have, and give you one more look at the overall picture of how the commute's going. Most roads look really good at this point. A lot of green on the map, always a good sign during the peak of the commute. So I think with how things are going, no real issues having popped up, we can go ahead and wrap up the stream. I will continue to be tracking any issues. We'll be live on First Alert 6 here in just over 10 minutes with the latest. And of course, you can always find all the latest on firstalert6.com on our traffic blog, where we post any issues as they happen in real time. And that includes whether it's crashes, whether it's construction impacts, anything along those lines. You'll find it on that blog there on our website. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and have a safe New Year's Eve. And hopefully you'll be looking at smooth travel if you're going to be heading out on the roads.